What's up guys, Truck Palmer here. Dash cameras offer valuable protection and peace of mind on the road, providing evidence in case of an accident, deterring insurance, and capturing memorable moments. This is recording from the AZDOME v600 3-channel dash camera, and I will show you how to professionally install this in any motor vehicle. This has 3 cameras, the front, the cabin, and the rear camera, which also provide a reverse guide, which will be very useful for those vehicles that do not have a backup camera. You can see the quality of these recordings. This dash camera will be installed with a hardwire kit, and the links will be provided in the description below. Let's do the unboxing. This is the cabin camera right here, which records in HD, and this can be adjusted vertically. These are some buttons at the front. Here is the mode or back button. Here is the up or mute button. Here is the emergency lock button. Here is the down or camera or switch button. And here is the OK button. The microphone is right here. At the top is the micro SD card slot, which uses class 10 SD cards up to 128 GB. This camera does not come with any micro SD. Just add one to your shopping cart when buying this camera, or pick up one at the store. They are very cheap. When installing the SD card, ensure that the contact points are facing this way and push down until you hear or feel a click. Here is the rear camera port. Here is the reset button and Type-C charging port here. Here you find the mounting sticker, and the GPS is built in. Here is the front camera, which can also be adjusted vertically. To the side here is the power button, and here is the speaker. This is the car charger adapter, which won't be used. A hardwire kit will be used instead. I highly recommend using a hardwire kit with a dash camera for neat installation with little wire showing, and to also be able to enable the 24-hour parking feature. This kit has a low voltage protection, which shuts down the camera when the vehicle battery drops below a desired volt, which can be set here. This will allow you to start the vehicle when you are ready to hit the road. This comes with 4 different fuse taps, so one will work with your vehicle. Now back to the camera. This is the rear camera wires, as well as mounting tape and screws. This rear camera has LED lights to help with backing up at night if you set it up. I will show you how to do so. Also in the box are wire clips, which won't be used. I will definitely be using this trim tool though. Also in the box are extra camera mounting sticker, the user manual, and an electrostatic sticker. Let's go install this camera. After I finish install this, I will go through all the settings and features, so stick around. Before we start anything, let's check if the camera is working. I already did so but didn't record it. But it's not too late to check again. I can test it with the car adapter charger, and I also can plug in the rear camera. When it's first turned on, you might be asked to format the memory card and set the date and time. Now that I know that the camera is working, now it's time to decide a perfect place to mount this AZDOME v600 dash camera. The key to install a dash camera is to place it where it has a clear view of where you're trying to record, and at the same time does not obstruct your view. For me, it's good here, but if you want to view the rear camera while backing up, I recommend installing it here, which would be closer to you, so you will be able to view while reversing. After you have decided your camera location, clean the area with alcohol wipes or rubbing alcohol to remove dirt and oil. Next, peel the electrostatic sticker and affix it to the chosen location. Now, remove the protective film from the camera. Attach the dash camera onto the electrostatic sticker firmly and as straight as possible. You can get these electrostatic stickers and 3M 2-sided tape on Amazon. I really should have placed the camera a little bit lower, and I will show you why later. Now it's time for the exciting steps. It's time to professionally install the rear camera and hardwire kit, and I will show you how to connect the rear camera trigger wire. You will most likely need some extra wire to do this. For this 2014 hatchback style Toyota Highlander, I needed extra wire. Even though you might not have a 2014 Toyota Highlander, the installation process is virtually the same for all vehicles. I will be installing the rear camera on the inside of the rear glass. I'll start by plugging in the rear camera wire in the camera and use the trim tool to tuck the wire along the front windshield and roof. Then hide the wire under the A-pillar and under the airbag. I will pull away this panel a bit, and now I can feed the wire under the airbag. I will run the wire along here and to the back. Almost all vehicle trims are like this, so just take your time and tuck the wires away. Now I'm at the rear glass. Let's finish running this wire. You can avoid all these steps if you don't mind seeing extra wires and you don't want the reverse feature. But I do, and I will show all the steps. There are two ways to run this wire depending on your vehicle. If you have a sedan type motor vehicle and also want the reverse feature, just run the wire to the back here and under the roof here, leaving the red trigger wire out. Then install the rear camera on the glass. Next, run this red wire inside this panel, behind the seat here, and under the cover. You will need to remove this panel, then connect the rear wire to the positive lead of the reverse wire. You can use a multimeter to check which one of these wires is the ground. Then connect it to the other one, which would be the positive side. You may need extra wire to connect to this red wire to reach the reverse bulb. This will send 12-volt power to the camera when you place the vehicle in reverse. If you have a hatchback like this, you may have to run the wire through a rubber channel like this and under this panel, then install on the glass. After that is done, you can connect this red wire to the positive lead of the reverse wire. Let me show you how to do that. I will need to remove these panels here. I can just pop them out of place. The reverse bulb is right here and I can access it by removing this panel. I don't need to remove the entire cover here. I will now connect the positive wire. If your red wire isn't long enough, you will have to simply extend the wire by adding a piece of extra wire. This is extra wire I'm adding here. I'll strip about 1.5 inch and push it inside the positive side of this plug. Ensure a lot of wire is not exposed. You can also tap into the wire here and secure it with tape. You can also take it a step further by soldering these wires together. Now I'll tape this together so they stay in place. I'll run this red wire here and secure it with tie straps. Now I will run the camera wire through this rubber tube. I will pull out this rubber tube. I'll now apply some silicone to lubricate the wire so it slides through easily. I'll now take my time to feed the wire through here for a professional install. Now I can connect this red wire to the extra wire and cover the wire with heat shrink. Now I can reinstall these panels to cover the wires. With this hatchback style vehicle and this camera style, the camera will be pointing to the ground if I install on the glass here. But if you take a look at this camera style here, this camera is designed to be installed on the glass and the view can be adjusted vertically. However, this camera can't. A camera like this will have to be installed here. The two-sided tape that comes with this doesn't stick very well to plastic. It works very well on glass. Therefore, I will use the screw that came with this camera. This is the professional way to install this camera and hide the wires. If you want to be extra and hide more wires, you can drill a hole here and run the wire through here, but I won't be doing that. This vehicle is a little unique. This rear glass can be opened and I do use it sometimes. So if you have a vehicle like this and install the camera on the glass, you might want to leave excess wire here so when you open this window, the camera doesn't pull off. That's it for the camera. It's time to install the hardwire kit. But if you will be using the adapter charger, plug it in the power outlet and run it to the camera. Try and hide as much wire as possible. Don't have the wires hanging in the car like some people do. You can get creative and remove panels and hide as much wire as possible. Let's start installing this hardwire kit. This is a universal hardwire kit that can work on most dash cameras with a Type-C port. Here are some pins to set the battery voltage at which the camera will stop recording to prevent the battery from getting so low that it can't start the vehicle. You may choose a volt depending on your outdoor temperature and the age of your battery. The volt can be set to 11.8 volt, 12 volt, 12.2 and 12.4 for a 12 volt battery. I will set mine to 12 volt. If you don't care much about this feature, set it to 12.4. This will be the highest battery setting, but will leave a lot of battery life to ensure that your vehicle starts. We will need a good ground source. Depending on where the ground source is, you might have to add extra wire to reach it. Next, choose your fuse tap style for your vehicle. For this vehicle, it's the ACN or LP mini type. Insert these 10 amp fuse to the right side of the fuse tap. I will now connect these to the hardwire kit. Connect any one because they are both red. Push these covers together to seal the wires. You may additionally use tape to secure these wires. To install the hardwire kit, locate the internal fuse box. Most times they are under the steering columns. Others might be to the side like right here on this Nissan. Some fuse boxes will be covered like this one on this 2014 Toyota Highlander. Remove the cover. Now I need to find 2 fuse slots to be used for the next step. One fuse slot that will provide constant power even when the vehicle is off, which is the red wire. And another fuse slot that only provides power when the key accessory is in the on position, for the yellow wire. Let's find them. So while the vehicle is off, use a multimeter or a test light to find a slot with power, and this should be connected to the red wire. Ensure that it is the red wire here. Different hardwire kit color might be different. Always read your user manual. I will now test for a fuse that has power while the vehicle is off. Connect the black tester wire to a ground source and start testing empty fuse slots if you have any with the red tester wire. I don't have any empty slots here, but if you do, test both sides for power while making note of the ones that do not have power. Those will be tested for the accessory or yellow wire later. If you find an open fuse slot with power, just insert the fuse tap that is connected to the red wire. That red wire is for a constant 12 volt whether or not the vehicle is off. Note that no fuse is needed to go here if you found an empty fuse slot. For this vehicle, I will test 15 amp fuses or higher while making note of the fuses that do not show power. These will be possibly accessory fuses to be tested later. When I get power while the vehicle is off, I have found the right fuse. I found one here. This fuse has power while the vehicle is off. You can see power reading right here on the multimeter. I will use this pointy nose pliers to remove the fuse and insert it to the left side of the fuse top here. Now I will insert the fuse top that is connected to the red wire. Very important that you connect the wire that requires a constant 12 volt to the fuse tap that gives constant 12 volts whether or not the vehicle is off. Now for the yellow accessory fuse tap. Turn the key to the accessory position, which will be the first turn for key start vehicle, and for vehicles that has push start, press the start button once while your foot off the brake. First, check those empty slots that you have made notes of earlier that did not show power when the vehicle was off. Of course, that is if you had empty fuse slots. If you find an empty fuse slot that has power which did not have power when the vehicle was off, it's an accessory slot. Just insert the fuse top that is connected to the yellow wire in that empty fuse slot. Again, no fuse should be placed here if you found an empty fuse slot. For this 2014 Toyota Highlander, there is no empty fuse slot, so I will be checking those fuses that I made note of earlier that did not show power when the vehicle was off. Now I'm getting power here. This fuse did not show power while the vehicle was off. I will remove this fuse and insert it to the left side of the fuse tap. Now I will insert the fuse tap that is connected to the yellow accessory wire in the fuse slot. The red and yellow wires are now connected. Now it's time to find a ground source which is connected to the frame of the vehicle. Here is a good ground source for me. You can use a multimeter to test continuity to see if it's a good ground. Connect one end here and the other end to an exposed metal area that you know has good contact with the frame of the vehicle. This multimeter is set to continuity in the beep mode. A solid beep indicates a good ground. So this location here is perfect because it has a nut to secure the wire. I will loosen this nut and secure the ground wire here. If you can't find a nut close enough, like I did here, you may have to get extra wire and run it where you can find a good nut that is grounded. You can do it, and that's pretty much it for the wire connections. Now it's time to secure the wire with tie straps. Then run the wire to the camera. You may have to remove some trims or part of the dash. It will be different for different vehicles, and you may only need to remove a side panel or one here. For this 2014 Toyota Highlander, I will need to remove this side panel and pull this panel loose. Now I will run the wire through this hole and push this panel back in place. I will tuck the wire under this rubber and reinstall this cover. I will loosen this panel covering the airbag and tuck the wire under the airbag so it's out of the way in the event the airbag is deployed. I can now plug this in and eye the excess wire. I will be tucking the wire away under the windshield and under the roof. Note that I could have installed the camera a bit lower to leave room to easily plug this in. That's it for installing the hardware kit, and the installation is actually completed. Congratulations! This hardware kit will provide parking monitor and 24-hour surveillance. So this is the dash camera while driving. But before you go, let's go into some of the settings and features. This is the menu key that is also the back key. This button mute or unmute audio recording. This is emergency lock key to save a video that won't be deleted by loop recording feature. This is the switch camera button to switch the camera display. This is the confirm or OK button. Pressing this during recording will stop the recording. And the final button is the power button, which is to the side right here. Let's go in the menu. The HD resolution can be set to 180p or 720p for the front. Loop recording can be set to 1, 2 or 5 minutes. This enables continuous recording even when the memory card is full. All the videos will be deleted. Cabin camera mirror shows a mirror image when turned on. You can turn on and off the beep sound. The parking monitor can be set to off, high, middle or low. Time-lapse can be turned on and off. This compresses larger video files into short video by saving the video files in a faster tempo, which saves space. This is very convenient, especially when 24-hour parking is activated, and that can only be activated if you have a hardwire kit installed. Time-lapse recording can be 2, 8, 12 or 24 hours. Recording order can be turned on and off, and there is a dedicated button for this here. You can manually set the date and time. You can set your desired language here. You can set volume to off, low or high for playback. You can set your frequency to 50 Hz if you live in North America, or 60 Hz if you live in Europe. You can set your screensaver to 1, 2 or 3 minutes. The dash camera LCD display will turn off after 1, 2 or 3 minutes, but will continue to record when set to off. The dash camera LCD will also be on when this feature is set to off. IR LED or infrared LED can be set to auto, on or off. This function is for the cabin camera. For nighttime video recording, footage capture in dim light condition will be black and white. G-sensor can be set to off, high, middle or low. The G-sensor is a 3-axis impact gravitational accelerometer designed to detect physical gravitation impact. You can also set your exposure setting here as well. Time-lapse can be turned on and off. You can format your SD memory card here, reset your settings to default, and also view the version of your firmware. The firmware can be updated. I know this video was long, and that's pretty much it for the features. Now take a look again on some video recordings. All the products used in this video are available on Amazon, and the link will be in the description below. Thanks for watching guys, but before you go, please like this video and subscribe to my channel if you have not yet done so. Track Palmer out. See you on the next one guys.